Let's do this. So, for those of you who are joining us right now, thank you once again for tuning in. My name is Ron. I am the regional trainer at GoPro. And today I have with us two very lovely and special friends. They are Yash as well as Trishita. What's up, you guys?
What's
What's
up?
up?
What's up? What's up? Yeah. So, first of all, to all of you at home, I want to give a huge shout out and say thank you for joining us today for this very special session. And thank you, for all your questions that you have been sending in the questionnaire. We have received more than 500 questions, and I had a great pleasure, just reading through all those questions. And some of you asked really good questions, and I would like to say, make sure you stay to the end of the show, because what we have at the end is that we will do a giveaway. Two types of giveaway. If we pick out your questions during the live Q&A, you actually get to walk home with a GoPro swag bag.
Oh, all right.
Oh,
That's the other one. And the last one, I would say during the last segment of the show, it's something that we do. We are actually giving away a Hero 8 Black. So if you are staying on the show, be sure to stay to the end. And I
Yeah.
promise you,
the
you
lucky
won't
one.
regret it.
The
Yeah.
lucky
And
one.
and for the rest, I would say for the rest, we also have something very special for you. It's something that we call the GoPro Pocket Guide. So if you want to learn, some of this stuff that I talk about today, I told some of the other audience to screenshot, to do this and that. You don't have to worry about that. At the end of the show, we will also share with you a QR code and a link, so that you can download our GoPro Pocket Guide.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so
Perfect.
without further ado, I would say thank you once again to join us for this show. It's a capture to share on this GoPro e-workshop. And like I said, with us today, we have none other than GoPro family member Yash as well as Trishita. What's up, guys? So
What's up?
Yash, maybe
Yeah.
let's start off with you. Maybe you want to tell us something about yourself, but tell the audience something about yourself.
All right. So my name is Yash, and I'm a proud GoPro family member from India.
Hi,
I
Yash.
remember I started using my GoPro when it was Hero 4 Black. That was like 4 years ago, more than that. And that is when the whole journey actually started, to get into the, Hero GoPro cameras. And it actually, if I talk about my whole journey, it's really long. But to cut it short, it's been really amazing so far. I've really got the best opportunities to, work with GoPro, then, be at the best events, launch events, then do all sort of activities which I never got to do and create the best out of it. Yes. And I'm really happy being a part of the family now.
Thank you for being on the show, Yash. Thank you. And Trishita, also known as the Queen of Selfies. And okay, if you are here, Prem, I'm not so sure if you're on the show right now, Prem, because I read your questions. Prem's questions was selfies, 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 selfies. I want to learn all about taking the perfect selfie shot. How do I take more
So
portraits?
cool.
Yeah,
So cool.
Prem, if you are on the show, I would say make sure you're following Trishita, because she is the queen of selfies. She takes 2 seconds, but she nails the shot all the time. So, what's up, Trishita?
I'm good. I'm good. For me as well, the journey has been so good. I remember I wasn't into action cameras at all because
Mhm.
while I was a student back in 2016, I was in my third year of college, and I used to use a humble phone, and I had a DSLR, a basic DSLR, and I had heard about GoPro, but I'd never used one. And suddenly GoPro came into my life. It was introduced in India, and then I had the opportunity to meet creators like Chef and
We
so
were
many
together during the whole launch. Yeah.
together. Yeah, and it was like a first time, a big project for us. And I still remember May 30th, 2016, and that was the first time I used an action camera. And I owe all the adventures that I've taken to GoPro, because I don't think I would have been an adventurous person at all if I didn't have this action camera. I get to learn
Yeah.
so much every day. So it's been a
Love.
very good journey.
And guys, like I would just say, following you guys on the journey, I would say it's been such a joy. And like I said, to the earlier crowd as well, you guys have always been very forthcoming throughout this whole journey. I think since you guys started, and I think that is really one of the reasons why audiences love you guys. In terms of how you guys really engage with the audience, and being here today, sharing all these really nuances and the valuable tips of content creation. I think that really takes you guys to the next level. So for those of you who are watching at home, if let's say you have a question that you want to chat with us, along the way, knowing that this platform right now, you can't chat with us, what you can actually do, you can actually go over to our Instagram pages. So if it's Yash, you can go to Chef Yash, or Overrated Outcast of Adventures of Ron. You can send us a DM, a personal message, and we will be looking through some of those questions as well. All right. So if you want to chat with us, by all means, that platform right there, it's available to chat with us. All
Yeah, we're
right.
always happy to help.
Always, yeah. And like I say, guys, you guys are always so awesome. Yeah, like look at this shot, So, I mean, just for the audience who are at home, what you can expect today, this is the subject matter that we will cover. Today's session is about capturing to share. And I think one of the main important reasons, because someone asked me, a question before when we created this curriculum called Capture to Share. Why is it called Capturing to Share? Maybe, Yash, I would ask you, why do you guys take content? Why do you guys take a picture or a photo or video?
So basically, I want to share my experience, and when I hit the record button on my GoPro, basically
Yep.
I'm recording my experience, and once I show that video to someone else, I'm sharing my story. So it's really easier for me, when it comes to GoPro, it's really easier for me to share my story easily through photos and videos.
What about you, Trishita? Like, what is your purpose of taking photo or video? Why do you take photos and videos?
For me, I mean, I like reliving my experiences through photos. I don't necessarily do videos a lot. I know, but I'm like kind of getting into the video sphere. But for me, since 2013, my life is all about photos. Because you can go back anytime and then just relive those
in the moment.
memories, and then
Exactly.
like you get reminded of an experience, a very fun experience or a very bad experience, but it's like a photo book, a visual
It
diary.
means something to you when you look at the photo, even if it might be
Exactly.
blurred, but it means something to you.
Exactly.
And
I've uploaded blur pictures as well.
yeah, I've done that countless of time. And I think the reason why I also ask you the question is it's something that I relate to as well. As we were looking at this topic that we talked today about capture to share, my purpose of capturing photos, I would say in the past, before I was actually on Instagram, I hardly took any pictures. And if I ever took pictures, it was mainly to save it as a memory for myself or maybe my friends and families. But I think, I think what really changed is that when I started to backpack in Europe, like 5 years ago, or 6 years ago, actually, and that's when I bought my first GoPro, actually. I think that something changed, and I think the world that we live in today changed. I think the thing called social media has enabled this sharing world, and I think a lot of the reasons today, if you talk to people, like people in the session today, they're asking us, how do I capture better content? If you think about it, the reason why you want to capture better content is that you want to share it. You want to share it with somebody, and then so that when you relive that moment as well, you can also enjoy that.
And
so
you
for those,
relive it with 100 others, 100,000 others.
Exactly, you relive that moment, you share it with somebody else as well, and I think that's where the fun is. So I think in today's topic, some of you ask, what is the objective? What are we going to walk away with? Today's objective is that we want to inspire all of you on the call today to be better creators, better storytellers, by sharing with you some awesome tips and tricks. And that tips and tricks, I would just break it down into the curriculum. We will be sharing with you how to bring a story to life. So a little bit about storytelling. We will also be introducing you to perspectives. What is perspective and why is it so important? And the last part of the session, we will also share with you about capture tips and go-to settings. So this is the curriculum that we'll be sharing about today. And like you guys say, Yash and Trishita, I think based on what you say, I know we are already up for an awesome session. Exactly. All right. So before we just skip into the curriculum, for those of you at home, you're wondering what's up, you want to get a good deal. I think we have some really awesome promo codes for you guys. The India team has put up this amazing promotion for you. If you're wondering what the promo code is, it's BMS GoPro. So you can hit the QR code or check out the link. I think you should receive it in your email as well. You can check that out. Perfect. All right. So before we get started, Yash and Trishita, I know we talked about it earlier, but I thought it was still very important, before I just pass on the session to you guys to talk a little bit about what the GoPro experience is. Knowing that some of our users here are new to GoPro, they are wondering, we have questions here like, what is GoPro? Is GoPro just a camera? What is it? And I would say, this I would say, GoPro, I think the goal is GoPro aims to free people, to celebrate the moment and inspire others to do so. I think that is really the vision of GoPro. We want to free people to celebrate the moment, like this amazing shot that you shot here, Trishita, at the Sunburn Festival. And at the same time, part of the journey that we take is that we want to inspire people, to do the same. And at the same time, I think what this GoPro experience is that we feel, and you guys feel it, is that we want to actually enable the world to celebrate it and share itself, in immersive and exciting ways. That really is, I would say, what the whole GoPro experience is about. People sharing experience in immersive and exciting ways. So I would say that really is the nutshell. And I would say like this picture here really sums it up. I think Trishita, when you shot this shot and when I saw it first on Instagram, I was like, wow, this is really a summation of that celebratory moment that we talked about. Yeah, and for some of you who are at home, some of you ask questions about GoPro awards and what makes a great GoPro shot. We actually have a special segment for you at the end. So I would say stay to the end as well. So in a nutshell, guys, for those of you who are wondering and those people who are asking the question, what is GoPro? Is GoPro just a camera company? I would say GoPro is so much more than a camera company. I would say from cameras to accessories to softwares and apps, I think GoPro today, I would say we are a versatile storytelling solution, that enables this immersive sharing. So the things that you see on Instagram, you're wondering like, how does this happen? I would say it happens for a lot of reasons, from the hardware and software that we have. And another part to it is it happens because we have awesome GoPro family, people like Yash as well as Trishita, who are there at the forefront sharing all these amazing works. So I would say this whole ecosystem, it's what we have. And I think the idea behind today's session is that we want to invite all of you to be part of this amazing sharing community. All right, so to kickstart this workshop, actually to get you guys started, Yash has put together an amazing video. And this video here, I would say was taken during your stay home period. So Yash, shall I do the honors to play your video and you can chat about it afterwards?
Go for it.
Go for it. And I thought this was such a great video to bring up the topic about storytelling, Yash. I know over at GoPro here, we say storytelling, it's like writing a composition, when you're in school. I would say we have the default template, for those of you who are looking to get started, what you see on screen here is what we call a default template, whereby we talk about set the scene, where you guys are, the character, and then you talk about the characters in the story, which in this case, it's in Yash's house. Yash is the character. And then we talk about capturing the action. And last but not least, I think it's a very, very important part about storytelling. It's about the payoff, how do you want to end your shot? But, as you can see, what Yash did in terms of storytelling is that he added his own creativity, his own essence, so that you could see some of this amazing storytelling. So maybe Yash, could you walk us through, we have some questions that came in. They are asking, how does a new user get started into storytelling? Like how do you reach your level, let's say one day, in terms of videography? What should they do?
I think this is a very old process in filmmaking which everyone follows. There are 3 steps. One is writing down your thoughts.
Writing down your thoughts.
That's the first step. Second thing is during the production, when you take all the shots. And third step is while editing. Okay. So if I try to explain about each and every point, so when I'm writing down my thoughts, like I have this idea in my mind during this quarantine, that how I spend my time during my whole day. So what I did was I just wrote down everything, like what I can do, what I cannot do, everything, Second thing was like I just picked up the perfect place, which was my drawing room, because it has enough light, from all the four sides.
Yep.
So I shot the entire video as per I planned. And the third step was editing. Editing is a very main step where you can, actually delete the bad ideas and add in more ideas. Like if you would have missed on any shot, you can reshoot it again and add it in. That is totally
Yep.
up to you. So before I started, I knew what I wanted to use in terms of the gears, my camera, that was GoPro. Then comes to the accessories and mounts. Like for example, most of them asked me how I got the ceiling shot.
Yeah.
So it was being mounted on the fan with the help of the jaw flex mount. This is another. Yeah. So I use the jaw flex mount. Yeah. So when it comes to storytelling, I try to play around with the perspectives. Like I try to do something which no one has done, or maybe no one would ever think about it. Like, how did he get this shot? So like that comes up to you. Like you can use different mounts and accessories, get your shot. Play around with perspectives, and that is how you can tell your story through all the shots. Like in terms of any activity. Like for example, when you hit a record button on your GoPro, as I said, you're capturing the experience, and that is actually your story which you are capturing. And when you're sharing the same video with your audience or your friends or your family, you're sharing your story, and it is so easier with this camera that I can share my story so easily. So I think I sum it up to this whole whatever I
Three
said.
steps.
Yeah, three steps. Yes.
I would say like what you've mentioned in step number one, I relate to that all the time. I think it's so important. I think planning, it's probably my number one tip to everyone as well.
Yes.
Because once you start thinking about your shots, when you actually go and do it, let's say you're on a holiday, people ask me, how do I celebrate, enjoy the moment as well as shoot at the same time? I would say the more time you plan, you actually have more time to enjoy. Because if you don't plan, and then you go to your location, you're like, oh my God, you're scrambling to get everything. You're thinking about everything. You can't enjoy the moment.
Totally.
Exactly. So I definitely relate to that, Yash. What about you, Trishita? How I would say, like, for you, like, since I know you are like a master at photography, how do you like tell your stories, so vividly, to your photos? We saw some pictures earlier. What are some of the tips, to some of our viewers here who might be new in terms of photography or videography? Like, how do you capture that essence of the moment? What is it that you do?
I think on the contrary, I kind of don't plan. I mean, I always hope that things will fall into place, because I mean, sometimes
You are a
it
very
does.
lucky person all the time.
No. See, for me, I shot this home pro. So, Chef shot this home pro video. Even I shot a home pro video, and I had to plan it because I'm at my home and it's the same setting every day. So you need to plan what you are going to do, what are you going to show, because you can't show everything, right? I mean, you can't. So first that was that. Plus, during photos when I'm traveling, especially, I don't like planning things because I was once just traveling in Orissa, and I saw this pink auto rickshaw, and it was like 6 a.m. in the morning, and my sister and I were traveling, and we had to go from one place to another, and this bright pink rickshaw. You can't plan a bright pink rickshaw, right? So I get into rickshaw for you is a tuk-tuk, by the way, Ron. It's a tuk-tuk.
Rickshaw. It's
Okay,
a rickshaw. Yeah,
rickshaw.
I know a rickshaw.
So, so you can't plan that. You can't plan moments, and most of the moments that I share with my audience is all unplanned. I mean, once you see something interesting, that's when
the rawness of it.
ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when ideas start forming in my head, because I am talking about photos. Videos take a lot of planning. So I agree with Chef on that part. But for photos, I feel the rawness adds to it.
Keep it natural. I mean, my takeaway,
Yeah.
I think, from your conversation is that I think you look at the situation, you assess it,
Exactly.
and then you think like, how can I best capture this to depict what I'm trying to communicate?
Plus, you need the time also.
The timing.
When it comes to photos, it's all about the timing. You are at the right place, right time.
Right time.
So,
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Be
Works
ready.
well.
Be ready, guys.
Be ready.
All right. So what we have next for you guys, I just want to share another video because we shared an earlier video, and I think the next video really summarized, I would say, some of the essence of storytelling. We showed earlier home pro video of Yash telling a story very sequentially, and I think the next video, I just wanted to interject that because I think it's just a little bit of creative editing. how do you want to incorporate music together with your edit, to make it pop. So let's check that out. Oh yeah, all right.
Oh no, I love this video.
I love this.
Same, same.
You can see the mosquito,
Blur face.
I would say that was so good. It's a very short video, but I would say it's very captivating. And I think speaking about captivating, I think that definitely brings us on to our next topic, about perspective. I think one of the things that why people are so intrigued about perspective, especially a perspective they've never seen before, is because perspective itself, a new perspective itself will be engaging, For example, this shot that you shot, Trishita, right in the center, which is like an inverse tiny planet, it blows people up. People are like wondering, how on earth did you get a shot like this? And I would say so I would say thank you once again for sharing all your awesome images. But in this segment, guys, I think like we've talked about it, what we will do is that we will introduce some of this perspective to our audiences at home. I think for you guys, I would say go ahead, chat about it. I think like what you said about the thought process, thinking about it, how you want to get these spontaneous moments. I think those are all great examples.
Yeah.
So yeah, Trishita, so maybe to answer the question, how did you get the shot in the center for those people who are wondering? Because we had some questions.
I was initially very skeptical to shoot because this was in Macau last November, I remember, and the market was full. If you see behind me, there are a lot of people watching me. And I was kind of skeptical because I am an awkward person and I was traveling alone. There was no one to take my picture. That's where GoPro comes into my rescue. But so the buildings, so I kept my Max. This is shot on the Hero Max, and I kept my Max very.
The GoPro Max.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it was right and bang in the center of the market. And I was so awkward that I got only 2 chances. I did only 2 times. I shot it 2 times. And I was I was like, I hope it came. I didn't check it because I didn't have battery that time. So I was saving my battery. So I was like, I'll check it later. If I got it, then well and good. But if not, then we'll see. We'll try something else. So I shot this because the street was so colorful. And if you notice my account, I'm all about colors. So I really wanted to show that. And I wanted a wider perspective. That is why I chose the Hero Max, not the Hero 8. Because I could turn it into a tiny planet. I could turn it into a reverse tiny planet. So it gave me a lot of options to try. And that's why I kept it in the center. I got it. I shot, I think, two pictures, and then I was done. And after that, I went to the GoPro app. I reframed it according to myself, whichever perspective looked the best. I uploaded 2 types, this one and more zoomed in one. But I really love this shot. It was a very lucky one.
Yeah, thank you for sharing it. I think that's perfect. I mean, giving the context to the story, I think really sometimes helps the viewer to say, okay, how do I set it up?
And plus, I love shooting low angles. Because I normally shoot selfies. So whenever I try doing something new, I always try to shoot low angles. Because it's an interesting perspective.
I love the texture on the road. I mean, for me, like what drew me in was that leading line of the texture. Yeah, and like Yash, like over at the bottom right-hand corner, that is another inverse planet. Like we have questions all the time. People are asking, how do you get a shot like this? So maybe you can share with us, like how was it that you mounted it? What was it that enabled you to get a shot like that?
Basically, when I talk about tiny planet shots, I make sure you mount the Max or your GoPro Fusion on your tripod, which is the Fusion of the Max grip here. Make sure the ground is pretty flat enough so it can take up it will balance it properly.
Just showing it to these guys.
Yeah.
Second thing, which is like, I always make sure if there is a human element in the photo, it will at least be 2 to 3 meters away from the camera to be in the right shape. So I just asked everyone to, form a circle around the camera. I made sure there was enough distance. and we just, yelled in front of the camera, and I got this shot. This was during my
It's-
birthday, basically.
Yeah.
Dude,
So,
that's an awesome shot. Like I would say,
Yeah.
everyone's involved. It's a very different group selfie.
I am also in the picture.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
And
It's awesome.
all these people are, who have always been there for me and who have been always close to me, So all of them are there in this picture.
All right, big
Typical
shout out to
friend
them.
circle.
Big shout out to them, you guys.
Yes.
All right, so guys, let's delve into perspective. For those of you who are watching at home, what we will do in this segment is that we will introduce you to 4 main perspective. Starting off with the handheld perspective, and I would say this perspective, has been one of our probably the most used perspective, one of our most popular perspective. So maybe Trishita, maybe you can give some tips, in terms of how do you use handheld perspective, Yeah, like this shot. This is an amazing shot. Like you captured yourself perfectly, the entire bike. You even got the lane. You got everything. How did you shoot it?
That was the idea. So this was nearing sunset. I remember the time was around 5:30 in Thailand, in Bangkok. No, in Thailand, somewhere in Thailand. And sorry, but I wanted to show the sunset, the sun setting behind me, because it was an interesting thing to do, because there were a lot of buildings and all that, and the sun was the only impressive thing. So and I had my shorty, my love, my favorite accessory is the shorty. I always use it. I always carry it. It's here, and so I had that ready. And what I did was, I took this shorty, I just bent it like this, because
Vertical.
now vertical. I shoot vertical wide mostly.
Vertical.
Yes, I think it complements my Instagram feed, and on Instagram, vertical pictures do well, but that is not why I shoot vertical pictures, but I prefer it. It's my personal choice. So what I did was, I bent it a little, and I've shot so many selfies in the last 3 years that now I know exactly where to point it. And I mean, practice, and you get to know the proper angle. So what I did was, I just did this, and I tried different shots. I put it on time-lapse photo mode, 0.5 seconds, and I think after like 20-25 attempts, I got this shot. Where the light was perfect, the cycle was perfect, everything was perfect.
And for those of you who are wondering what settings that she used, and as well as should share his view as well, after this segment, we will actually dive into some of the shots, the settings, and you can also do some screenshots there. But perfect, Trishita, I love it. Like shooting vertical photos, much like Yash doing it over here, I think really helps encapsulate that whole photo frame.
Exactly.
Yash, what you're doing here, it's perfect.
I use the shorty mount as well. Yeah.
Shorty mount, yeah. And I would say, if you're doing water sports, guys, make sure that you have like a leash so that you are not like, you don't drop your camera into the water. For me, water sports all the time, make sure a floaty like you see on screen here, either the floaty or you have a leash on you. You don't want to drop your.
That's when you don't use a shorty.
Exactly. Or the handler. The handler is a great one.
Yes,
here is another amazing perspective. I would say that's your POV type shots, your body mounted type shots. For people, some questions we get, how do you get the POV type shots? I would say the accessories that you see right there enables you to get some of the shots. And yes, this shot is by you. It's the same Sunburn Festival. You got the fireworks.
Yep,
yeah.
Yep.
And what accessory were you using here?
I was using a bike mount.
The bike mount.
Yeah,
perfect.
But
and you had
that time I don't remember
too many beers.
So talking about the shot here. I was using a bike mount, of course, and I kept time-lapse photo mode, and that was 0.5 second interval. The only problem what I was thinking in my mind was, will I get my shot perfect or not? So, the fireworks were continuously happening, and I made sure I'll stand there and I won't move from there unless I don't get my shot. So, every 5 minutes when the music dropped down, like, when the beat came down.
I'm ready.
Yeah, I was doing like, yo, bring it down. And, every 5 minutes, like I was there for like, 20-25 minutes. And then I got this shot and I was like, dude, this is the shot. Now you can go and chill. Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
amazing how I've been a spectator to all these shots. I've been in Abu Dhabi with him. I've been to this Sunburn. Sunburn is such a tricky situation, I tell
yeah.
you, because it looks very easy. The shot looks very easy, but it's actually so difficult. The crowd is shoving you everywhere. The crowd
Continuously pushing. Yeah.
continuously moving, pushing, and it's very hard to get a night shot like this. So
You still got your shot, yes. You know, that small
Yes.
camera in your mouth, you got
Yes.
an amazing shot. Yeah, and
yeah,
I think like Trishita, like you as well, you know, that same shot, you know, you decided to tell a different story because I think from that same segment, you had it
yeah,
first, selfie from the back shot, you know, and now I think this, you know, really brings your followers, you know, on with you on a journey, you know. So like, you know, for those of the viewers who are at home, you know, the reason why we talk about perspective is because storytelling or visual storytelling, it's so impactful. Once, you know, you can tell a more wholesome story, you know, as you saw in Yash video, he incorporates a lot of perspective in his video from all kinds of places. And like Trishita, you know, in these two simple photos, you know, one photo was a selfie, one photo was a POV. You know, my challenge to you is that as you start looking at the next few pictures that we have, you know, how
yeah.
can you incorporate more of this perspective to your storytelling techniques? Yeah, like this, Trishita, I think gear mounted perspective, that is another kind of perspective where you mount your GoPro camera onto an object. You know, for example, like this, Trishita, you had it mounted on the jet ski,
Yeah,
right?
because I had already taken a selfie shot, so I wanted to try something new.
Exactly, you
And
tried something
yeah,
new.
yes, exactly. And I didn't want to take the risk of holding it again because this water was totally deep. I was very scared. So I was like, I'll
Yeah,
stick to the adhesive mounts. I'll put my camera on and I'll just enjoy the ride
it's
and let the
perfect.
GoPro do its work.
Look at the water droplets that you captured on this scene. I
Yeah,
absolutely, it's
Realistic.
very natural. I can
Yeah.
see that you're riding a wave. It's the
yeah,
action, the
it
joy, it's
was
all there.
I
amazing.
like the
It was
motion
Yeah.
blur of the water droplets, which they
Yeah.
are doing.
Some tips for those of you who are taking water sports. You know, we got some questions on water droplets. How do you get the water droplets off? My tip that I love is that saliva actually
Yes.
helps a lot. Saliva, you give it a good lick, you dunk it in the water, your saliva actually creates a coating on the lens,
Yes.
and that helps water repel off the lens. You know, because sometimes your clothing is all wet, you can never dry it. So actually, your
exactly.
saliva gives some good lens. So I think Trishita, big up to you getting that shot. And yes, you know what an amazing perspective. It's, I would say, similar to handheld perspective, but you took the handheld perspective to another level. You know, by
Yeah.
finding perspective, you actually mounted the camera, I mean, onto the pole, you know, or
The
the
paddle,
oar.
yeah.
Yeah, the pedal. And that is amazing. Yeah.
So I remember I was not carrying my max when I was doing the kayak ride, and I wanted a top shot, like a
Yep.
tiny shot, but it was not possible because I was not carrying my max. So I thought, like, make the most of it by the objects which you have around you. So I just used the handlebar and I just mounted on one side of the paddle and started
It's
my
perfect.
time lapse
You got
photo
it.
mode. Yeah.
For those of you who are wondering, the mode that I would say go-to mode in terms of action activities, we will talk
Yes.
about it afterwards as well. It's time-lapse photo. Time-lapse photo gets you the best, highest resolution photo during action shot. Yeah,
Can't
that's
agree
something that
more.
I would say you should think about. And I think as we go on to, our last perspective, it's what we call, this is, I would say that the perspective are exhaustive, but these are just 4 buckets of perspective that we would classify them. We have the handheld, we have the body mounted, we have the gear mounted, and in this segment, we have what we call stationary. Where you set up a stationary shot. I would say Yash should tell you the rules of photography applies, make use of a surrounding. That's what he told me in the earlier shot, and you can see he placed a really nice leaf in front of the camera. And I think that really gave
All
this
the
whole,
leaves.
yeah, you place all the leaf, the ones at the back as well, Yash. That adds so much essence to the picture. And I love it, it kind of draws you to the London
Yes.
Tower. So
Yeah,
like
the
I would say,
leaf is
guys,
so cute.
yeah, look at the detail of the leaf. Yeah. So like I said, guys, I think the tip here is, like if there was any takeaway for you, is that if you are looking to tell your story, can you tell it in more than one perspective? That is usually the challenge. For me, when I give my workshops, I tell my audiences that, hey guys, today as we go out on the shoot, can you shoot this scene in 2 perspective, in 3 perspective, maybe now in 4 perspective, or in Yash's cases, in 100 perspective.
Same thing,
Yeah,
100 times.
exactly. So once again, maybe if we have any newcomers who are joining us in the session, I just want to remind you, welcome. And at the same time, if you have questions, you can always drop us on Instagram. It's Chef Yash. You have overrated outcasts as well as Adventures of Ron. In case, I know you have so many questions. I wish we could reply all the questions, but our producers are telling us we only have very limited time on the show. So they are like, Ron, you gotta hurry up. But we will try our best. I would say we will try our best to speak through all the things. Next, this is my favorite segment. Each time, as we talk about storytelling, we talk about perspective. Every time we come to capture tips, I think this is one of the parts that most of our audience always engage with us. They ask us a ton of questions because they've seen amazing shots like this. Like this on screen, Trishita. You got this amazing raw moment that you are on the tube. And people
One hell of
ask,
a ride.
oh my God, how did you capture the shot?
Oh,
all right.
This is all natural because I was so scared, shit scared. This right here is my truest expression of the whole.
I tried this. This was at Creator Summit, right, Trishita?
Yeah.
I tried this as well. Oh my God, it was scary.
It's so fast, so fast. And I was like, I'll stick to the true sense of it. I don't want to post smiling pictures because this is what I felt that
It's
time.
perfect. Raw emotions. I would say raw emotions are always the way to go.
Yeah.
All right. So with capture tips, let's dive into our first capture tips. We will talk about lenses. I think Trishita, you spoke to me earlier about lenses, and I think you being the photographer here, I think you are probably one of the experts to chat about lenses. Why are lenses so important, Trishita?
I feel as a photographer who's always used a phone or a camera, we tend to see pictures in a linear sense. So I get a lot of questions like, I don't like the fisheye effect of a GoPro. How can I change it? So a GoPro provides you with a linear lens as well, where you can take a picture which is shot as something that would you would shoot in a phone or a camera. So I personally, and this is totally on you, personal preference is the key. I mean, I prefer vertical wide, as I said earlier, because that is how you show that you're shooting on a GoPro. And I mean, I like the wide perspective. It covers so much. But I've seen a lot of people who don't like it. And that's why linear is also a very good option. So these are two examples of a wider picture and a linear picture.
Yeah. So, and maybe for the rest who are wondering at home as well, the GoPro actually has 4 lenses. Like Trishita said, you have the wide, the linear, but you also have the super view as well as narrow. And I think Trishita, what you have done over here is that you shared with us 2 examples, when you would use the lenses. Yeah.
So the wider picture is more immersive, I feel. And the other picture is kind of aesthetic. It goes with the vibe of the place and everything. But the wider picture is more immersive. Like you get engrossed and you see the buildings and the curve and it interests you.
That's like a leading line forming you in.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah, thank you. I love it. Linear photos, I would say, if you're doing landscape shots like Trishita, I would say linear photos are definitely the one to go because that makes sure that your horizon is not weirdly warped. Yeah, and the next one, Trishita, you told me that this is a mode that you love to use as well. Photo timer, knowing that you take a lot of timer shots.
Yeah, and then I have to go through 100, 200 pictures because I shoot a lot. I am so obsessive.
Yeah,
but
I would say,
so.
Go ahead. No, I would say for those people who are wondering how to get nice photo timer shots, what we have usually recommend is that you can pair up photo timer together with a burst photo. For example, like what you have captured here, Trishita, I think it's an amazing example where the water action is coming down. You want to capture that moment. So you can combine burst photo with photo timer.
Yeah.
Or try the live burst out.
Yeah, exactly. But I feel for slow action shots, I prefer the photo timer, which is the time-lapse photo mode, 0.5 seconds. But for faster actions like this one, I would prefer a burst shot, like 30 pictures per second or 10 pictures per 3 seconds. 10 by 3 is 30 by 6, something like that for faster action.
Perfect. Yeah, I love it. I love it. And for those of you who are still joining us, I would say make sure that you stay to the end. We are actually announcing we're doing a 10 question and answers, and people will walk away with GoPro swag bags, and the final winner, will actually walk home with a GoPro Hero 8. Like we'll be announcing that at the end. Yeah. Next, exposure control. This, I would say, it's a very I would say it's a very like a hidden kind of tip, but I would say, that day as we were chatting with me, Trishita, I know we talk a bit about photography. I think this is one mode you use to capture a really awesome shot, right? Yeah.
Many people don't know about this.
Actually,
Yeah,
he
many
doesn't.
Yeah.
people don't know about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you go about doing this exposure control on the GoPro?
I mostly use it for night pictures.
Okay.
I mean, there is a night mode on the GoPro, but I prefer using exposure control when I know I'm very static and I'm not moving. So I get a good shot, but I mean, if you show the example, I'll
Oh,
be
show the
able to
picture.
explain it better. Yeah.
There
So
you go.
in this, I mean, I had tried the night shot, but I wasn't really happy with it because it's a musical concert. The light is like very,
Yep.
very intense, and it was totally whitewashed. The picture was totally whitewashed, and I wasn't happy with it. I wanted a different perspective because then post processing the picture becomes very difficult when the lights are all blown up in your photo. So
So
to
what you did? What do you do?
so
You
what
hold
I
on
did
to the
was,
screen.
yes, I just pressed the screen and I locked the exposure to the sunburn logo, and that's how I got the shot. I was waiting for like some shots to go or some fireworks to go, and that's how I got this shot. And I have like 5 other pictures, so you can check it out on my
I
profile.
I really love this shot. Like you can see the rays
Yeah,
of lights coming out.
golden.
You can see
Yeah.
even the guy's phone perfectly composed. Maybe he's
Yes.
posing for you. I think it's perfect. I think like one of the things that you brought up, and for those of you who are wondering how to use exposure control, you can actually use it even on the older GoPro models. So even if you don't have the Hero 8, that is perfectly fine. All you gotta do is tap the screen and hold on to it. And then you can do
Long
exposure
press.
control. You have to just tap the checkbox
Screen.
on top.
Yeah.
You either do lock exposure, like what Trishita did, or you can actually do an auto exposure on the
I
screen,
would also
depending on
like
where
to
you
add
select.
one more thing. I would
Yeah.
also like to add one more thing. You can also play with EV compensation.
Yeah.
There's this thing called ProTune, which works like I mean, how manual works for DSLR, ProTune
Yeah.
works for GoPro. So there you can change the shutter, the ISO, the EV compensation. See, EV compensation is I think I can't go technical. I'll
No,
leave
like I would like
that
to
to
add in
Ron.
one point.
Yeah.
Okay.
I usually adjust the EV compensation when it's harsh light. Like
In
the
the
light
Yeah.
is
day, for
really, yeah,
example,
yeah, yeah.
the
Like
day.
Yeah.
after 12 or 11, the harsh light comes out and it gets difficult to take pictures. But if you
Yes.
just cut down the EV compensation to minus 0.5 or
Minus
minus
one.
1, depending on the environment where you
Perfect.
are, it balances up properly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like him, I also use it for day pictures, but for night pictures, I use exposure control. But I really wanted to add because I think it goes together.
Very important point. Yes.
Yes.
I love it. Yeah, I think that's really one tip in terms of how to get good shots. And the one that we have been talking about all the time, I think time lapse photo. For some of you who are wondering how to get the shots like this, we have put some tips on the picture. For fast action shots, like Trishita and Yash will tell you 0.5 seconds gets you that stunning picture. Like Yash, a pirate on a boat. Yeah. Yeah, you've got a couple of shots here, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
you've got a
You are
couple of
right
shots.
there in the picture.
I am right there in the picture as well. Yeah, but I
Yes.
think it's great because time lapse photo, like we were chatting, in action shots, you never know what you're gonna get. You can find the most
Trust me.
candid moments of people just hanging out, or you're trying to pull the best still image. I think what maybe just to help people frame their thoughts, as you're shooting a scene, maybe try out video mode 1, and then afterwards try out time lapse photo mode 2. Then at least you get 2 different kind of assets from that epic moment, right?
Absolutely.
Because I know, yes,
Yeah.
you got another thousands of videos on this board as well, but then you also have photo assets as well.
Yes,
So
yes.
that's I think a great tip, that I think you shared with me once.
Yes, yes. It gets very difficult. Like for example, I know I have 2 days or 3 days at one place. Like for example, I was at this creator summit. So before even I started doing any activities, I had in the mind that I'll at least take minimum amount of videos and I'll make sure I'll take photos as well.
Yeah,
Because if these two things are not planned properly, then you can't even take videos properly, nor the pictures properly, and you
Yeah.
end up getting zero content.
Yeah. You
perfect.
don't
Keep on
can't
fighting,
concentrate.
you can't concentrate. So
So you
yes,
know what you want, like you say, write it down. Write it
yes,
down.
yeah, you write it down.
Yeah.
You can
Oh,
shoot 4K videos and take a screen grab. That is also one more
Yes,
thing.
That is absolutely right. So the higher the resolution that you shoot, you
Yeah, you can
actually
take
can
a
do a
screen grab.
photograph. So 4K gets you about 8 megapixel photo in the frame rate.
Yes,
2.7K gets you about 4 megapixel. Your
4
1080
megapixels.
gets you about 2 megapixels. So I would say that's a really awesome pro tip as well, Trishita. And
Absolutely.
yes, these shots, knowing that we have so many questions about night photography as well,
Mm-hmm.
I decided to include a portion here so that you
Mm-hmm.
can chat about it. Yeah. So what is it all about? Yeah.
All right.
Maybe in a
I,
brief summary.
Sure, sure.
Yeah.
So when I talk about night photos, that's the best thing which I enjoy doing. I enjoy taking more night photos than compared to the day photos. So when it comes to night photos, it is really challenging at times because you're not aware if you're getting the right shot because you keep on experimenting with different settings. Okay, for
Yep.
each shot. So I was here in Varanasi, and this was the Aarti going on, and I had to find the perfect location for it where I could, mount my camera with a tripod on with a shorty mount. So I found my place. I just left my camera over there, and I made sure I won't move from there unless I get my shot. So I took multiple attempts unless I got the shot. So we have already shared the settings, right, in the upcoming slides for the night photo shots.
We will. Yeah, it's
Okay,
here.
so
It's
yes.
here.
Sorry.
Yeah. So again, same thing. This was another shot which was shot in Jasdan in Gujarat. So many people ask me, like, if you're taking like 30 seconds shutter, the whole
Yes.
interval here. So how does not the human element move? Why is it not shaky? So I usually tell them, you can't get all of your night shots very easily. You actually have to dedicate everything. For example, my friend, I told him, you better not move for 30 seconds because I'll make sure that I'll give you the best shot, which no one has shot. So
Yep.
I explained him, you just have to stand over there, with the headlamp on. And yes, I got the
Yeah.
shot. This was a 30-second shot, yes.
And yeah, I think there was a typo on the screen. I think that's supposed to be a 30-second shutter.
Yeah.
But yes, I think I saw this photo on GoPro Awards, or the second photo
The
at this
second
scene
photo,
here
yeah.
at GoPro Awards. So
Yeah.
yeah, guys, I think for those of you who are wondering how to get night photo, I think the longer the shutter exposure, that's
Yeah.
important. So I think for this photo, 30 seconds it is. And then
Yeah.
if you saw our slide before that, that's our recommendation, for scenes that are not a bright, but not so bright, maybe night traffic, fireworks, light painting, 2 seconds up, you can try auto exposure as well. But for complete darkness, I think 30 seconds, like Yash mentioned, really
Yeah.
nails the job. Yeah.
That's a
And
very
next,
stable surface.
yeah, and a
That's a
tripod.
very
Make
stable.
sure you
Yeah.
have a tripod. Yeah, make sure you have a
Yes.
tripod. Yeah. And Yash, what about this? Like I think with the Hero 8, like you also shared with me another really cool video. You have a
Yeah.
cool night lapse video. Yeah.
I miss going out.
Everyone does.
Yeah.
that.
So I would say for those who are wondering, how Yash gets such amazing hyper smooth like a video like this, the Hero 8 Black actually shoots night lapse video as well. So it stitches all the cool night lapse photo that Yash spoke about and creates an amazing video. So
Yeah.
for people who are wondering how to get started, I recommend the auto shutter exposure, because that allows you, to not really think about it, mount it right. I think Yash chose to mount it outside the car at a
Uh,
right position,
I'll tell you how
or
I
you
did it.
hold it out.
No, so I took my El Grande pole.
Yeah.
Okay. I shifted it in between one of my leg. Okay, to get my
Yeah.
grip properly, and the other side of the camera was outside the window, and I tilted it a bit so I could get the taxi driver as well and the ceiling as well. Like
Like
a
this. So
proper
you
frame.
just
Yeah.
mounted it out.
Ah,
Yeah, and I was
understood.
holding
I
it. Yeah,
understood.
I was holding it
I
like
thought
this.
it was mounted.
Exactly.
Oh, this is a
You
nice,
tricked me there.
interesting thing.
It's so stable,
Ah,
Yash. It's so stable.
yeah.
Yes, and
I'll also try this.
I got this in the first attempt only, and I was so
Wow.
super proud of myself, dude, that I pulled it off in like first attempt. Yeah.
Nice.
Perfect. Yeah, and I think here, Yash, as well, knowing that we have so many questions about time warp, time lapse, I think here you shared another amazing content with me, and I knew I
I
had to
love
share
this
it with
time
you
warp.
guys. Yeah. Maybe I'm just going to play it for you and chat about it. Reminds me of Stranger Things.
It is.
You know? All right.
So I
Where
would
was
like
this?
to mention one tip about this time warp video.
Yeah.
I don't know many of them follow it or not. So while I'm shooting a time warp video, I'll make sure I'll keep the subject in my center, you know.
All the time.
Like when I was moving around this, I don't know whatever you call it, a carousal
Ferries,
or a
carousel.
ferry wheel, yeah, yeah.
No, it's not a Ferris
So
wheel.
when I was moving around it, I kept it in my center and I kept rolling my camera, you know. And then
Yep.
there's another feature, yeah, there's another feature which I use is like the slow down feature on the time warp. So when I finished my one round, I just slowed it down and I
Like tapping a
stopped
screen.
recording. Yes, and then I stopped recording and then I made a loop video out of it. So you know,
Okay.
it keeps on playing to and fro, to and fro.
Yeah, but this
Yeah.
is genius, Yesh, and I think that's a really amazing tip that you
Lovely
brought
time.
forward. What I tell users all the time as well, make sure that you point your camera lens to the subject matter.
Yes.
It's like a game. Try to keep it in the center, you know, because that I think draws your attention to the subject. It creates this illusion of motion. Awesome stuff, Yesh.
There's another
Yeah.
feature. I don't know if everyone follows it or not. There is a grid, you know, on your
Oh
GoPro
yeah,
camera.
I
turn on
do,
the
I
grid.
do, I do.
Turn on. Yeah,
I
I
do.
turn on the
Yes.
grid as
Yes.
well. Yeah, put
So
it in the
It makes
center
life
box.
very
yes,
easy.
put in the center box, and it
Put it
really
in the center
helps you, you know,
box.
to get the best out of it.
So
Yes.
for those of you who
Yeah.
are wondering how to turn on the grid, swipe down on your Hero 8 Black. You have a grid option. You can actually turn your grid on. I recommend to turn it on because the rules of thirds with grid, it's so much easier.
Actually.
And the next one, Yesh, I think here we have also included another video because we had some questions around max time warp. You know, what is max? How do you do stuff like this? Because this you were at Angkor Wat and you shot this super crazy video. Look at that. Yeah.
So trippy.
Yeah. It almost feels like I'm there, you know?
I love the music.
Yeah. So Yesh,
Very
what is it about Max? You know, is there any tips, you know, for some of the people who are asking questions?
I'm in love with Max since it came out. Yeah. So I make sure I use the Max when my environment is, you know, it has a lot of elements like human elements or any historical structure or architecture.
Yep.
So when I was at this place, Angkor Wat, I was thinking, how would I get the whole temple in my one video shot? So I thought if I want to show the whole temple in my one video shot, maybe I'll shoot a time warp. Okay. And I just used a pole and like mounted my camera on that Max camera. And to get a stabilized time warp, I would recommend everyone to use 15x or 30x. Okay, the speed. That is what I prefer because it gives me a proper stabilized footage, even on Hero 8 and even on Hero Max, and also the not the Fusion, sorry,
Hero 7.
Hero 7. Yeah.
Yep.
So that's another thing. And when you're using Max, make sure your lens is pointing again on the subject. You know, so while editing, you won't get enough trouble while
stitching lines. Keep one lens pointed to the subject all the time.
And yes, that's the two things which I always follow. And again, you know, you can do wonders with your time warp videos. You know, you can do a lot of stuff. You know, you can't even imagine about. And this is how I got the video. And literally, people were watching me. Yeah, like
it feels like I'm there. You know. And maybe for those people who are wondering, you know, like what is time warp? You know, time warp is basically a super stabilized time lapse video. You know, that is what time warp is. And I think from the Hero 7 Black, you know, GoPro has actually incorporated time warp. And I would say, Yesh, Trishita, I would say thank you once again, you know, for sharing all these amazing capture tips. You know, I think those are some really, really, really amazing. For those of you who want the show, I would say it's really your privilege and my privilege, you know, to be learning from these legends right here. And now, you know, I would say we are coming into a really fun segment. It's going to be our Q&A. And over here, you know, what we have, before we just jump into our Q&A, I just want to bring everybody to what GoPro Awards is, because that is something that some of you have asked some questions. You know, what is GoPro Awards? Basically, GoPro Award is an ongoing kind of a challenge, you know, where we reward you for your best content. The best part to that, GoPro Awards accepts unlimited submissions. They accept your raw footage, accepts your even like your edited footage as well. So for some of you who are asking what makes a great GoPro shot, I would recommend you to actually screenshot this this picture, because this, I would say, really sums up what makes a great GoPro shot. All right, so if you look at it, some of the things that you want to talk about. Number one, we talk about amazing quality. That is something that we speak about. Number two, we talk about motion. The third thing that I think the team looks out for is unique perspective. Number four, authentic moments. And last but not least, a photo that invokes curiosity. So for those of you who are asking, what makes a great GoPro shot? I think if your shot encompasses these 5 factors or as much as these factors, like what Yash and Trishita always think about, the science behind the shot, I think this is what we really break it down, the science behind the shot. Yeah, so if you are there on your phone, if you want to do a screen grab, screen capture, this right here, it's the wow factor of what makes a great GoPro shot. These guys always nail the shot. Yeah. And, like I promised you guys, at the start of the session, here it is for all of you, whatever that we have chatted about today, we gave you all the awesome tips and tricks. Today here in this slide, it's actually what we call the GoPro Pocket Guide. You can actually download our Pocket Guide for Hero 8 Black as well as GoPro Max. You can scan the QR code or actually get the link. I think we'll probably share it with you in your email as well. But you will receive this Pocket Guide, and I would say it's also mobile friendly. You can save it in your phone, and I would say for new users, you can refer to it anytime you want. So make sure if you can't scan the QR code now, at least do a screenshot so that you can save it. All right.
Yeah. Perfect.
Once again, if you are more than welcome to chat with us. Our Instagram handle is here. I've repeated that too many times already, and now we're coming to the Q&A. I would say, yeah, okay, flash due. For those of you who might have missed it out earlier on, but Q&A. For me, I think what I picked out here, Yash and Trishita, I think was some of the most interesting questions that's related to the topic that we spoke about earlier. So I think the first question comes from Royston Rodriguez. What is the best format to shoot content for Instagram? Yeah.
Can I answer?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So usually most of them complain when it comes to videos. The video is not that clear. It's pixelated after uploading it on Instagram. Many people complain, is it because of the internet connection or the Wi-Fi connection?
Yeah.
But you should know the right way to post-process while render it and then post-process in the right format. So if at all these users are using Adobe Premiere while editing their videos, I would like to share one more thing, which is like when you render it on VBR2 pass, okay? And keep the quality to 20 to 22 maximum, minimum to maximum. And that is how I suggest that everyone should render at the same way, to upload the same videos on Instagram so that they do not get pixelated. Like that's been recommended. Yeah.
And what about phone videos? What about people who edit on phone? Like on the
phone. So when I talk about editing on phone, like I have never faced that issue. Like when I edit my phone videos on the Quick app, when I'm on the go, I've usually uploaded the videos and I've never got any complaint from any of my viewers or from myself that my video is pixelated. So yes.
Yeah. And maybe I would just want to add one point here as well. For Instagram, knowing Instagram, it's on a mobile platform. It's a tall format. I think Trishita does a fantastic job, even on what she does. She likes to shoot vertical videos, right? Or vertical photos as well. Because when you shoot vertical photos, you actually get a 4:5 aspect ratio. Or maybe you get a 9:16 aspect ratio for stories. So shooting vertical for stories gets you amazing content for your Instagram stories. Or you can shoot 4:3, which is like a 1440 resolution or a 2.7K vertical. That gives you a taller video. And taller video, makes it more immersive. When your audience is watching your content, it draws them in. It really draws them in.
I mean, with the 9:16, you can turn it into, you can use it as 9:16. You can use it as 4:3. You can also use it as 1:1. So you have three
exactly. You have 3 choices, And like I'll say, to Yash's point as well, what we say is that, if you shoot the highest resolution, for example, 4K, you actually get some of the essence. So even if Instagram compresses it, that's fine. Yeah. So Royston, I would say thank you for your question. I think this is a question that a lot of people have asked. I think fantastic. Next, we have another question. I would love to explore all potential users of GoPro in a daily life where there is not much action involved. This is fantastic because throughout the whole conversation today, guys, we didn't really talk much about action. And I think, I think this question. Okay, you can do it, Trishita.
So for us Indians, we are not. We're not into adventure since the beginning, since early childhood. we are not conditioned that way, like Americans or other Asians outside. So I personally use it for a lot of lifestyle pictures. I shoot a lot of selfies. I shoot a lot of
Yep.
stationary photos that Chef also did in London.
Yep.
And it's not necessarily an action camera. I mean, you can shoot home pro videos. Everybody knows it now. If you see the home pro tag, you can see what all you can do at home.
Yeah.
I mean, people are doing such crazy stuff. I love the hashtag. I mean, you
Exactly.
get so much inspiration from people who are doing that at home. And you can shoot it anywhere. You can use it like any camera, like a phone camera or a DSLR camera. It's GoPro is such a tiny beast that you can fit it into a glass, or
Anywhere.
he has attached
Anywhere.
it into a mop and used
A
it.
mop,
I mean,
a bucket, a fan.
yeah,
It's
the perspectives are endless.
Yeah. So I would say, Srinik, I think if you have been paying attention to this workshop, you would see that everything that we spoke about today were not non-action stuff. I would say Yash and Trishita are probably one of the best in terms of coming out with creative ideas. And I think Trishita brought up a great point. The GoPro is small enough to fit into everywhere. So, I think it really bounds by your imagination, your creativity. And I like to maybe take away one of what Yash said, in one of his sessions in the past, when he gets inspired by looking at other people's content, but at the same time, how do you want to do it differently? Is there a way for you to evolve that idea,
Yeah.
And I think that really sums up potential users. So thank you once again for that question. The next one, how do I choose location? I think we talked about something similar,
Yeah.
how do I choose the location of a certain place? This is by Kahish
Sharma.
Sharma.
Chava.
Yes, Java. Yes.
Alright.
How do you do that?
I have my own way. Like, usually, if I have enough time, I would do a Reiki day. Like, I'll just check out all the places, and I'll just pick up the right time. Like, for example, if I want to get a sunrise shot, I'll wake up early. I'll go at that place and get the best shot.
Yeah.
And same thing with the night shot, golden hour. Like, if you go at the right time in the evening, during near a beach, to get that silhouette shot out of your GoPro. So it's all about the right timings where you want to take pictures, and also Trishita would like to add on something to this because she also takes pictures, so she would know more of it here.
For me, I as a travel photographer, I majorly shoot during traveling only. So I like to walk. I mean, by walking, you find so many things that you wouldn't find if you are going by a taxi or a bus or anything. But you can also shoot on a bus. I mean, there are a lot of examples that Chef has in his account from London, where you can see him shoot on buses and everything. But as far as transport is not concerned, while walking, you get so many opportunities to shoot. So I always choose walking. I walk for like 2-3 hours. I love walking, and that's how I don't click an extraordinary photograph. I come across an extraordinary place, and then I try different perspectives and shoot it in a way that people haven't seen before. And
you make it an extraordinary moment.
I make it an extraordinary moment for myself.
You never know when you can come across a great story,
Exactly.
in terms of, So it's always better to take the way, just keep walking, and you might people, then you come across places, you can end up with a great shot. You never know. You can end up with anything.
Exactly, dude. And maybe I can just add one tip, if let's say you're traveling to a nice city, what I like to do on my side, I like to use Google Earth. At least it gives you an idea what that place is. If I can't be there physically, let's say you're traveling. Yeah. All right, the next question that we have, it's I am a person who likes to go on bike rides and started thinking about making motor vlogs. By the way, I would say, guys, thank you so much for your question. I think we have so many motorbike related questions, but I think Pratik here asked a really great question. He wants to learn everything about vlogs. So maybe I think we can share, or actually I have prepared this. I think I can help you guys answer it. What I've done over here, I know that recently GoPro India has collaborated with Royal Enfield, and they have done such a fantastic job. We have people like Joshi Daniel, as well as Akash, Wonder with Sky. And guys, for those of you on the session, if you are a motorbiker, I would say you should definitely check these people out. You should go to Royal Enfield's Instagram. They did a live session with Joshi as well as Akash. And I believe there is one that's upcoming soon on the 4th of July. So I think big shout out to them. Go follow them and you can check it out. But guys, what about you? In terms of vlogging, what do you think of that style? Is there any tip Or probably you have said a lot of tips already.
Uh, if I talk about vlogging, I'm going to start it right after I start traveling, because I have got that enough confidence after the Hero 8, the audio quality which it captures.
Yep.
So I really don't need to put on my external microphone or to record my my audio properly. So
Yeah.
this device really does a great job in terms of recording good audio. So I
The
think
front microphone. The front
yes.
microphone does a solid
Same thing with
job.
Max. The audio job
Max
is
is
done well. Yeah.
yeah.
So yes,
Yeah.
I'm going to definitely try doing that. So
Exactly.
I tried vlogging with the Hero 7 and the results were quite good. I am
yeah.
yet to edit the video. I'm a lazy editor, but yeah, I vlogged throughout in Northeast, and I'm going to break it by places. I mean, the places I went to, each Arunachal Pradesh, Nagaland, different. Yeah. So, but the
Perfect. So
quality was really good.
I would say, what we've learned about videography and photography today, it's the same concept, for some of the users who are asking, I would say vlogging, it's like planning, you got to think about what you want to say, like what
Yeah.
Yash said, write down your thoughts, write it in point form. I think that brings it across. And if you can, don't follow the script. What I feel works, just be natural, just speak your mind.
One more thing I would like to add on.
Yep.
Not many are comfortable in facing the camera and talking, because I
Like
don't know.
me, I am also there.
Even I'm not comfortable sometimes.
Yep.
But there's another tip where you can do a voiceover. You can record the same audio
Yeah.
on the
Voiceover.
GoPro. Yeah. And just
You can shoot B-rolls, right?
yeah, you can do that.
Ah.
It's really up to you. So yes,
Yeah.
that's another tip. Do a voiceover, record it the same audio on your GoPro, and just boom, start editing.
Perfect. And okay, we've got a question here by Prab Haka. What should a beginner do or learn before buying a GoPro camera? Well, I would say Prab Haka, if you are following us on this session here today, I think we've gave a lot of tips just to help summarize for Yash and Trishita as well. I think storytelling tips, we spoke about that first. You think about perspective, and then next, you think about your settings. But I think in the main framework, when you think of storytelling, I think it's a conceptual, it's an art form, not just science. Even though what makes a great shot, I think like Yash and Trishita today have mentioned, it's about exploring, trying to look at things a different way. And I think that is what it's all about. And I think everyone can start off with this amazing thing that they have on their hand, their mobile phone. I would say it's a great capture device. So go ahead, Prab Haka, go ahead. Prab Haka. Yeah,
I want to add one more thing. To
Yeah.
this. People often ask us, a lot of us, that which accessory should we buy, and they get so confused that because GoPro offers a lot of accessories in a lot of domains. But I would like to suggest that first use the GoPro without any accessory for like 2 days to understand how it works and understand what you're shooting. And then according to that, you can buy any accessory. Like if you want one accessory to start, I would suggest either a freeway mount or a shorty to start, because it has a tripod. It's like a handler, so you can shoot handheld pictures with that. But after you use the GoPro, a lot of times you will be able to understand properly what which mounts you need.
Exactly.
Okay,
Use the handheld.
one more thing I would like to add in.
Okay.
I remember a few of my friends asked me the same thing, like, what do I do like before buying a GoPro? So I told them one thing, like, try riding a bike and try to risk your phone or your life while capturing yourself, And like my friend told me, asked me, like, are you serious? No, I'm serious. I'm telling you to try to do it. Like, would you risk your life or your phone while bicycling and taking a shot? I would never do that. Like, and I think you should try to go for GoPro and
Oh, nice way of marketing it.
Yes, how much are we paying you to say that line? Anyway, okay, we have 4 more questions, and I think our prompters are saying, guys, you are actually past the 60-minute, but I think the session is really engaging, guys. I would say for one, I think you guys have been giving really awesome comments. So here we have Kana Yash. I hope I got that right. How do we edit a professional video quickly on the go? Sometimes you don't have much time to edit. Maybe I can help here. Okay, maybe I can help you. I would say Kana Yash. Even if you don't own a GoPro camera, the best thing, like I said, GoPro is more than a camera. We actually have this thing called the GoPro app. the GoPro app is such an amazing beginner yet semi-professional editing software that helps you automatically create your stories. So that's right, yes, right there. You know, and I would say I've used the GoPro app to create many of my stories. I love to use it for Insta story, just knowing how fast it is, you know, because sometimes it's about the timing. You know, when you are there at the moment, you're like, I want to share it now. So yeah,
Plus it does
Yes.
filters. Plus it has
Exactly.
filters and everything.
Exactly. I would say if you're on the go, GoPro app, it's definitely my go-to one. You just choose the photo and then you get on with it. Perfect.
I used to use it for phone videos as well.
Yeah, exactly. I started off using phone
quick.
videos. I started off using it with phone videos at first before my GoPro. So guys, okay, so did we talk about this? You know, Trishita, you mentioned something about alone life. So here
this
we
is the
have
perfect question for me.
Srini. Yeah, Srini is here. How to make the best memories with alone life?
Alone life sounds so sad, but yeah, as a solo traveler, I often don't have a lot of people to click my pictures. So that's why I end up taking a lot of selfies because throughout these years, I kind of gained confidence in shooting myself and understanding angles. And I think it kind of makes your shot very immersive if you have a really good background.
Yep.
So I stick to selfies. I also keep my camera mounted somewhere with the help of the shorty, which has a tripod. So you can keep it anywhere on a stable surface and like go a little behind and shoot the whole scenery. Also, I am too awkward to ask people to shoot me, so I stick to selfies. That's what I would say.
Maybe Srini to help you. This thing here, yeah, I spoke about it, the jaw flex clamp.
I love this.
I would say
I want this.
It is so helpful. Like tripods, jaw flex clamp, you know, the perspective that we spoke about earlier, Srini, I think are really helpful. Trishita, if you've been following her, you know, she will give you all the insights on what perspective that you can shoot.
Definitely do.
Yeah, exactly. I think alone life, you know, I think that doesn't matter. You know, you create awesome content. You go, girl, Trishita.
Right.
Yeah.
I was alone as well during this quarantine. All the videos I made was like
at home,
sharing my alone life, you know, and they turned out to be really well. So you can do the same thing.
Exactly. Next, we actually have Atiraf. You know, Atiraf here is actually we spoke about this topic. You know, he asked, you know, how do you maintain a balance between capturing the moment in your camera and living in that moment? And I think we spoke about it. We said that, hey guys, plan your shots, right? Yeah.
Yes. Or else, go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sorry. So what I do is I don't spend more than 5 minutes on a picture. I mean, 5 minutes is quite enough. You'll understand if this shot is working or it's not. And then plus to save battery also, because I have limited amount of batteries and I want to click a lot of pictures. So I shoot, I switch off, and then if I see something new, I'll also shoot, and then I switch off. And during that switch off moment, I live that moment. I try to live that moment. Yeah, because as a photographer, you can't decide if you want to live the moment or you want to capture the moment or you want to do both. So it's a very thin line, to enjoy as well as capture. But yeah, don't give a shot more than 5 minutes.
It's not worth it. It's not worth it.
5 minutes is enough for a good shot.
Exactly. Anyway, guys, I also want to give a huge shout out to you for staying with us. You know, I would say for those people whom we're answering the live Q&A, you're actually going to walk away with the GoPro swag bag. And I know a lot of you are actually DMing me right now on Instagram. Knowing that we have very limited time here, what I'll do is that I will probably reply you personally after this. But here we have a last few questions. So here, Shankar, you know, is actually our next one prompted, you know, how to capture stars, some tips on night photography. Yeah,
Ron taught me
I think one shot, Trishita. Yeah,
there's this guy called Srini Clicks on Instagram. I don't know if he's from GoPro.
Srini Clicks. Yeah.
And I've been really looking forward to this guy from past 2 years, and that is how I'm learning. You know, like he keeps on sharing tips, not much, but on his stories, and that is how I'm practicing. But when I talk about night photography, we have already shared the settings, right? So
we have already shared the settings.
Many of them ask me again, like we already shared this. Why is my human element why is he shaking? Why is he blurred? So I would suggest everyone make sure you mount your camera properly on a tripod.
Practice and practice.
And
Yeah.
Try to talk to your subject that if he does not move, you will get the right shot. So, you know,
Yep.
there should be a kind of understanding in between both of them while taking any kind of shot in the photography. And
And to,
I had a double experience. In Australia, I got the shot very easily because the light was perfect, the settings were perfect. But I tried the same shot in Northeast. I think in Nagaland. In Nagaland, and I had to take it. I think I had to take the shot more than 3-4 times to get it right, to get the subject right, and
yep.
so it all wholly depends on the atmosphere as well, the environment.
yes,
Perfect. And to give and yes, you actually brought up a great name, Srini. I don't know if you read my mind, but we actually did a GoPro tips live with him.
yes,
So if you
Oh, wow.
guys want to really learn about night photography,
night photography.
go to
He's right there.
YouTube, go to the GoPro tips YouTube page. We actually did a live session with Srini, and he actually shoots for BBC Earth. A super awesome landscape
Yeah,
photographer.
yes,
So I think
yes.
Srini, if you're watching this today, I think a huge high five to you.
Yes,
But
you shout out
yes,
to him.
go check it out. Go check it out on GoPro Tips YouTube page. I think this is our last question that we have here.
All
Last
right.
one, tips for clicking out of the box perspective. Would like to know more about GoPro Awards, but by Sayali. Sayali, I would say, maybe you read what we were going to talk about today. You know, I think we have spoken. You know, I think Yash and Trishita, we've squeezed them dry. You know, and I think I really want to appreciate you guys as awesome guests. You know, I think you have shared so willingly, especially in terms of how to get creative, you know, what inspires you. I think more the thought process behind just the photo, you know, and I think to a lot of people, they think it's science, but sometimes for me, you know, when I like do my workshops, like you guys say, it's about the art, you know, it's about understanding, it's about trying, it's about failing, you know. One good shot, you probably take 10 more shots behind the scenes people don't know about. So Sayali, I hope we have explained it in really clear terms that you understand, you know. I think, you know, what makes a great GoPro shot, if you rewind that wow factor that we chase, you know, amazing quality. You know, we also talk about motion, we talk about unique perspective, we talk about curiosity, getting that kind of shot that invokes that kind of emotion. So
and something
yeah,
that you won't get on a phone or a camera. So always remember that
GoPro awards.
shots, during for shooting for GoPro awards, always remember that you need to show them a perspective that hasn't been clicked with a phone or a DSLR. That's what I learned from
Exactly.
GoPro Creator Summit when I went to Australia, and
Yeah.
I always keep that in mind while shooting.
And that's the fun thing about photography and videography, right? You know, always exploring the new boundaries, trying to push it, whether is it editing or shooting.
One more thing I would like to add on.
Yes.
Again, yeah. Usually, what I have seen past 4 years, many of them buy GoPro cameras and they look up to few people and they try to do the same thing. What I would suggest everyone is, you know, try to make your own benchmark, you know, try to shoot it in your way, try to experiment, you know, you don't need to really look up to someone just for ideas. You definitely
Yep.
can you look up to someone for ideas, but try doing something out of your own, you know, share your story in your own unique way. And GoPro really helps in doing that, you know.
All right. So, guys, are you ready?
Yes.
Drum rolls.
Are you guys ready at home? I think now, you know, we came to our favorite part of the show. It's the GoPro Hero 8 Black
Yes.
giveaway.
Ron, are we counted as well in the whole lucky draw? Me and Trishita. I'm just asking. Like,
Yeah, how many GoPros do you have already, Yash?
We won't
Yeah.
disclose.
We
Alright.
gotta share the love. We gotta share
all
the
right,
love.
all
So
right, all right.
one of the lucky people here who are with us today, I would say once again, thank you so much for staying with us to the end. I know we have overrun by a little bit, but like I said, you know, I think Yash and Trishita here are really forthcoming. They are really engaging, sharing with us all the wealth of knowledge. So, but like we said earlier, you know, we have a GoPro to give away today, and one of you who are joining us today is lucky enough to have that GoPro. So Yash and Trishita, are you ready
Oh yeah.
for the drum roll?
Yes.
What kind of drum roll? How do you do the drum roll in India? Is there a special way of do we do a drum roll?
No.
No?
I'm just
Come
doing
on,
mine.
drum roll. All right, are you ready?
Yes, I am definitely ready for it.
Okay.
Go for it.
Boom!
Whoa, who's this?
We have
Pareen Marani. Congratulations,
Pareen
man.
Mirani. Congratulations!
Pareen Mirani. I love his first name.
I think
Is
it's
it
him.
I think it's a boy.
It's a boy.
It's a boy.
Pareen,
Actually.
Pareen Mirani.
Pareen Mirani. Congratulations,
Pareen
Pareen.
Mirani. Congratulations to you, Pareen Mirani.
Yes.
Have
Yes.
fun with the hero.
I
Yes.
hope, and do tag us, Pareen, once you get your camera, I think the team will be reaching out to you. Please do tag us. I would love to see some of the stuff you create, especially from this section. Or to
Mhm.
all of you who are at home, today, whom you're joining us, I would say once again, thank you for all the questions that are coming in. I would try my best after the show to reply all of your questions. But at the same time, if you want to, let's say, hear more tips and stuff, I know Yash and Trishita love to get people tagging them, commenting on their posts. So go ahead, I would say do that. I'll be more than happy as well to join the conversation to see how can we all level up as a community together. Yeah.
Yes.
Perfect.
Thank you,
Perfect,
Ron. You were
perfect.
an amazing host.
Yes, Chava. Chava for
Chava,
the days,
we
Ron.
enjoyed so much Chava.
Yeah, no, I would say, guys, I enjoy being with you. I think the good vibes that we spread, and I think, like we said, like I think at the end of the day, it's more than just a camera, that bonds us together. It's the love for videography,
Actually,
it's the love for creativity, it's the love for capturing content. That we all enjoy each other's presence. But like I said, on behalf of everybody here, guys, once again, Yash and Trishita, you guys have been absolutely lovely. I think your passion, is spewing out, that you want to just share more and more. And for me, I think I learned a lot from this session for you guys. Do
Mhm.
you have any last words for anyone who is with us right now?
That
Ah,
we three are available on DM all the time. So
yes,
yeah, we're always ready to help. So you can message us, but message Adventures at Adventures of Ron. He's the regional training head, so he's a better person to answer your questions. But we are also available for any questions that
yes,
you have.
yes. Also, up for
Yes.
collaborations. Yes.
Yeah,
For
yeah, yeah.
collab. Exactly, yeah, and I think, guys, like I think Yash and Trishita here, they are super creators. If you are looking to do any awesome collaborations, if they are in your town, I know Yash is always looking to drink a beer, and hang out.
Of course. Every time.
So,
All right. If not, guys, I would say once again, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you,
thank you
thank
so
you.
much for joining us.
Yeah, I would see you guys on Instagram, right? Today we learned about capturing to share. So
Yes.
I am really looking forward to see what you guys share.
Oh,
All
Yes,
yes.
right, and keep
totally.
following GoPro India, tag us, and we will catch you guys soon. Maybe on the next session. Maybe on
Yes.
the next
Very
session.
You
soon.
never know. Yes.
You never know. All right. See you guys.
Thank
See you
you. See
guys.
you.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye bye.